Here's what Trump said. When I said that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake woke mafia media. But it turned out to be true. I mean, it's amazing how Trump was right about everything. If you think Trump was right about everything, Russia, the fake lawfare, the raid on Mar-a-Lago, all of the indictments, the border bill. I mean, he was right about everything. Fake news. Give me an American flag emoji in the comments right now, or just give me a thumbs up. I mean, it's insane. He was right about everything. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before, which is true. I shared a video just the other day of an entire retailer encasing an entire aisle in glass, a glass case. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims of the New Orleans Police Department. Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. This is something that is really interesting to me. A couple of things that I want to share. So they first said that this was not a terrorist attack. Okay, this was just moments, after it happened. They knew there was an ISIS flag. A lot of people are calling her a DEI FBI agent, possibly. I mean, that's all Biden seems to hire. But listen to this. This was right after it happened, and the FBI gave a statement.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask.
So she said it was not a terrorist attack. And of course, they deemed it definitely was a terrorist attack. And I shared this kind of briefly during the press conference. This is 42-year-old Shamsud, I'm probably butchering this, Shamsud Din Jabbar. Said he's been in Texas his whole life. We still don't know what the motive is. We still don't know what the incentive is, but we do know that it was deemed a terrorist attack and that he had potentially 4 to 5 other radical, extreme terrorist individuals. I mean, the guy had an ISIS flag on his F-150 Ford. We do know that the FBI has confirmed not only was there an improvised explosive device, but they have confirmed, that he had 4 to 5 people aiding him. So he was the driver, but this was a coordinated terrorist attack. So we have, on the very first day of our New Year's, as if it couldn't get worse under the dark ages of Biden and Kamala, 2 of the worst, the absolute capital worst politicians, public servants in the history of our country. They have committed calamitous, irrevocable, irreparable treason on our country. I just want to share this because I think this is important. So this was 7 months ago, where ICE and Border Patrol said that suspected terrorists illegally entering the U.S. up over 2,500% under Biden from the Trump era. 2,500%. Border agents caught 300 migrants. This was back in October, only a few months ago. Border agents caught 300 migrants with terror ties, including ISIS. And it's still, quote, incredibly easy, end quote, for them to enter the U.S. Now, put yourself in the mind of a terrorist. Put yourself in the mind of the Ayatollahs, our adversaries. God knows, ISIS, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, all of these terrorist organizations, Tren de Aragua, these gangs from South America. Put yourself in their mindset. Okay, time is of the essence. The clock is ticking. Trump is coming into office. On day one, Tom Homan, the new border czar, thank God, is going to be implementing the deportation of all millions of these illegal criminal migrants. They're starting with criminals, right? Even though the left propagandist, woke fake news mafia media wants to say, oh, he hates immigration. No, there's nothing wrong. He even confirmed with the H-1B debate debacle, which should never have happened. They're trying to drive a wedge in between Musk and Trump and the entire MAGA movement, essentially, which is make America great again. It can't be any simpler than that. That was just their effort to drive a wedge. They say that, no. He hates immigrants. If you're an immigrant, you're done for. No. Legal immigrants, the best and brightest, people who contribute, we have nothing wrong with that. We've talked about this many, many times, but they want to play their game. They want to play their attack, divide, conquer. That's their only strategy, right? So think about it. If you're in the mindset of these terrorists, you are on the clock. You only have 20 days, 19 days until everything, the fun is over. Playtime is over. So you've got droves and droves, and Biden's letting it happen. Kamala, we don't even know where Kamala has become the invisible man over the last 90 days. Where in the world is Kamala? We don't know where she is. She is still the vice. I know it's hard to believe, but she is still vice president of these United States of America. But where is she? She's invisible. She's gone. Hawaii, God knows what. She has not made a statement. She has not done her job, not since day one. As soon as she figured out she was going to lose power, she just gave up. Just like Biden. He is an evaporating, melting waste vegetable in chief, right? So these guys are pouring in, day out, pouring in. My fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens, they are putting American lives at risk, all for the sake of power. And I don't know if you know this or not. I just discovered this just in. I posted it a little bit while we were talking. This guy, Shamsuddin, I'm going to butcher his name, Jabbar. I don't really care what his name is. He's an evil son of a... He donated to guess who? Guess who he donated to? Is anybody surprised by this? That's right. He donated to the Hippocrats, aka the Democrats. Is anybody truly surprised by that? I seriously doubt anybody is. If you're surprised by that, let me know in the comments down below, because I for sure am not. And then we just got this from a very reliable source as well. This is crazy, and it makes absolute sense. And this is exactly what the American people voted against. I can't believe this. But I just did some, I've been doing rapid, diligence and research behind the scenes as this press conference was happening, which we didn't really learn that much. But it was reported twice. Remember, this guy was inside our military. Jabbar was reported twice to his Army COC, which is his direct supervisor, for Islamic extremist views, and they were too scared of causing a racial and religious issue to address. Does that remind you of anything? What does that remind you of? Every human being, not just American citizen, not just global citizen, not just somebody who follows politics, not just somebody who has a stake in the game, which, by the way, everybody who's breathing oxygen has a stake in the game. Why? Because America, the United States of America, is the beacon, the lighthouse for the rest of the world. When we succeed, the world succeeds. When we fail, the world fails. And we're seeing that in 3D Technicolor during the dark ages of Biden and Kamala. We're seeing that in full-fledged Technicolor. So, as a matter of fact, nobody watching and listening to this, nobody that you know, your spouse, your loved one, your uncle, your grandmother, your kids, your grandkids, nobody you know, your friends, neighbors, loved ones, nobody you know does not have a stake in this. If they breathe oxygen and they live on the planet Earth, you have a stake in this. What does this remind you of? This should make every single one of you absolutely seething, absolutely livid. Every single one of you should be livid by this. This is what DEI, cancerous, woke ideologies have created, not just for America, for the entire world. It makes me, the whole reason, the whole purpose of my channel, the whole purpose of me creating content for everybody, I'm doing this. It was the initial mission of the channel was to get our country back. Thank God Almighty, we got our country back. I was doing this for my grandkids' grandkids, my kids and my grandkids' grandkids, because I don't want America to flourish just for a couple of hundred centuries. I want America to flourish for trillions upon quintillion centuries. I don't want this to be a Roman Empire narrative. Our framers, our founders, the millions of service members who sacrificed deserve our efforts, our strongest efforts. And we won on November 5th. The mandate was set. This is exactly why. This is exactly why. And by the way, I don't just call myself professor for kicks and giggles. Before I went full-time into media, I worked in these institutions, some of the top universities in the world, and even state public universities. I worked at them all. It's the same human being. These smug, condescending, elitist academics who literally subscribe to Marxist, Leninist, communist ideas, which have spawned all of these DEI woke ideologies, the Great Replacement Theory, etc., etc. Obama being the real kind of brain behind this cabal. It's the same human being. These radical left extremists, it's the same human being. I know them. I've worked with them. I've looked into their souls. There's nothing there but an empty, vapid black hole. And they only care about one thing: power and the retention of it. Zero. That they don't care about nothing else. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our families, our neighbors, and they certainly don't care about our country. This also reminds me of the Daniel Penny effect, which we saw full-fledged when that lunatic lit that poor woman on fire in a New York City subway. Nobody stopped. Nobody stepped in. Nobody helped. Why help? Why should I help? Why should I step in? Why should I interfere when the only thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to be berated, defamed, derided, publicly ousted as some kind of villainous murderer, not believed, lied to, lied about, and prosecuted, and almost facing life imprisonment. For what? Stepping in and doing the right thing. I don't know about you, but if I'm on a subway and you got some nutbag screaming, I don't care if I go to jail, I'm going to KILL all of you. The person I hope is on that subway train above all else is somebody like Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny deserves so many awards, so many medals bestowed upon him that he cannot lift his head. He is a hero. You're not going to hear about this guy, Jabbar or whatever. You're not going to hear about him on woke propagandist media. You're not going to hear about his background. You're not going to hear about his radicalization. You're not going to hear about any of those things. You're not going to hear about the monstrous, chaotic, evil, harmful, consequential ideologies that people like Jabbar, Jordan Neely, people like Obama, people like the cabal are trying to enforce upon the entire globe. You're seeing the effects in the UK. You saw what happened in Germany not that long ago, Deutschland. You're seeing what's happening in France. When is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? Share this with everybody, okay? Share this with everybody. If you love America, that means you love the world. If you love America, that means you love sanity. If you love America, that means you love practicality. If you love America, that means you want some sense of normalcy back in the world. If you love America, tap the thumbs up. It's free. You got to stay tuned. Make sure you follow. Don't forget, also in the pinned comment is our free newsletter. Sign up for that. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is click on the link. Give us your best email so you'll never miss out on these, because even when you follow and subscribe, sometimes these platforms, They suppress us, they censor us, they don't notify you. I never share your email, I never spam. That is not the Nez Nation way. Literally, it is just your insurance policy, your sure-proof way of never, ever missing out. So sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment down below.